Going to be using is thermal imaging. Why would I want thermal imaging in a ghost hunt?
Ghosts are cold.
Right, exactly. So we are looking, I'm red, orange, and yellow. So for my bridal parties, that normally means that I'm the hottest thing inside the video. So, but I have fellas in here too, so sorry guys, but we're just going to go with it. So the blue and black spots are obviously our colder areas. We're looking for those spots to move on their own. We're going to try. We have a larger group here for what I normally give, so we're going to try to keep somebody's skin tone in there. Our skin tone is going to be the warmest thing out here. It gives us a bigger array of color. If we remove me from the camera, the red, orange, and yellow is going to actually go somewhere else. So with my skin tone in there, it's a bigger variation, much easier to spot those cold spots moving. Does that make sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. All right. KERI, we'll see how I do with names tonight. I normally see 50 to 60 of you a week, so we'll kind of see how I do. Yeah.
That's really good.
I'm a busy guy.
So.
Let's see.
I've already forgotten everyone's names.
I'm working on that. I'm working on forgetting everybody's names. Just because we have a weird number, which is weird.
Yeah.
That car has been driven recently.
Yep.
It's hot.
Still warm.
Figuring out my cart thief tactics.
That one has not.
They're going to be warmer.
Really? They're warmer?
The engines will be warmer.
Look.
You would think it was red.
Oh,
All right, back to me.
Okay, so sorry.
We'll be here for an hour and a half if we all keep chatting. I try to get through this part quick. You guys notice you cannot see me in this camera?
Yep.
Yes.
So it's pretty dark.
What the heck?
That is my wife calling.
That's a great ringtone.
It's not a witch. It's my wife. So, anybody name the movie?
I didn't hear it.
It says, "I'm not a witch. I'm your wife."
No.
Princess Bride.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's hysterical.
Oh, it's the
And
one with, what's his name?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So, I can't see me in there. We're going to turn on some lights. So we're working with full spectrum lighting here. Still can't see me in there? You can't see
I
me?
see a body. Now, yeah.
So full spectrum lighting is lights that we cannot see with our own eyes. So with that said, hopefully something will be popping up out of the shadows and darkness so that way we can actually catch it. So,
Very cool.
this one's going to go to you. Because we have like a weird dynamic of what we have going on here. By the way, we're going to do start and stops with your video. The red square on there means that it's recording. Don't hit it yet. I'll give you the start and stop cues. No worries.
Okay.
Same thing goes for you. I'm going to show you more about your device at our first stop. I just wanted to get the cameras out of the way so that way we can move forward and I know exactly what I'm doing. So we're going to move into spirit boxes. Spirit boxes, super important for what we're going to be doing tonight.
That's great.
She just will not stop.
I love her already.
She's just checking in because her schedule changed. So she's going to be in bed by the time I get home. So I just text back and okay.
Good husband.
So my wife is disabled, so we check in a lot. So it's one of those things where, we live in a house now. We just moved in like less than a month ago, so there's stairs involved. So if I don't hear from her, it's a big deal. Big stairs. All right, we're good to go. Spirit boxes. So this is a way for us to communicate with the dead. So you guys watch the TV shows? Am I speaking
I
to
have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like everybody. I got mostly head nods. So this is going to be like the white noise that Zach Bagans gives you, and then he tells you the BS that he thinks he heard in the middle of the screen. This is a little bit set up a little bit different. So it's going to be slowed down. You guys aren't used to listening to just white noise all the time. Not to mention the disembodied voices that they give you are a rarity. I might catch 4 a year, and I'm out here 6 nights a week. Plus, I do my own investigations. So again, we're going to slow it down so actual like DJs and song lyrics and commercials are going to come through in little tiny tidbits. In the event we can actually make any of it out, it's a 50-50 shot that it gets tied to the location, a person in history I'm talking about, or even one of us. Happens all the time. The cool thing about this one is it's going to record the entire session, even when it's on mute, and it will not record any outside noise. So it's only going to, it's really nice. Yeah. This is probably my favorite spirit box, and I use several different types, because I can just put it on mute, throw it in my pocket, and then leave and listen to the audio later. Yeah. I will give you anywhere between 15 to 20 markers tomorrow morning in your analysis, just to help you learn how to listen to this, whether it's relevant or not. If it is relevant to one of those three things, to place the person or one of us, I'll tell you why and then give you a backlink. Obviously, if it's pertinent to one of us, it's going to be because it's on the audio and you guys told me why it was relevant to you specifically. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy started. This guy is, like I said, I love this guy. And you'll have this full recording back. We don't do start and stops with this. So it just stays running all night long. So Miss Sam, you seem super stoked about this. So I'm going to actually show you, there's only one button. It's a volume. It's a wheel at the top. Don't hit the button, you'll stop the recording. So you're going to control the volume, and I'll give you the cues for when to turn it up.
Okay.
I get those lists so that I can text the boys.
I poke fun at Zach all the time.
So do I.
Alright, so this one works exactly the same way as that one, only it does not record. So I usually give this to 2 people and I have a full group of 10. So again, I'm going to hand it over to this party. They can kind of figure out who's going to be listening in. You also have one button to worry about. There's a little button on the side of the ball speaker here. You hold it up to get some volume. You hold it down when I'm talking to the whole group. I'll always give you cues for Spirit Box is up. Let's get this thing going.
Okay.
Let's see. So one device here. We're going to actually put both of your guys' in
How did you make
tandem.
that go up?
It's a gentle hold. It's on the other side.
Oh.
There we go. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So when I say push it up, this is the way the device.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right, let's push it up that way.
All right, super.
Got it. You're welcome. All right. So Michael, yours is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to put these 2 in tandem because I'm going to have a job that requires 2 people over here. So this one's going to give us words in the center of the screen from time to time. Yes, this is a phone app. So 80% of the words that come out of this thing, I'm just going to put it out there, is bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. It's the other 5 to 15%, maybe 20%, that I can tie, again, place, location, one of us. Right. In the event that it's relevant, obviously you'll have the explanation and the backlink. But again, a lot of times you'll hear me say, we're looking for details, guys. This isn't going to be yes or no questions, and we'll go over that at the first stop. It saves all of these words to a list with timestamps. So this way I know where to watch on the videos, where to listen to another Spirit Box to see if there's a sentence being formed. We're going to clear out last night's tour. They actually had 71 terms. It's been about average. But again, 80% of this is BS. A lot of times I say, Mike, sorry, man, that's nothing. So to get me to the list, you're going to hit the scroll button, and then it'll bring up the words here. You'll be able to flip through them, and then the top right takes you back. You do not have to show me every single word. I will check in with you, so that way I'm not being interrupted through history and stories. All right, let's get into some lasers. Yeah, lasers are always sounding good, right? This laser is the neuralizer from Men in Black. You guys are not going to remember anything by the time we're done. Can I just tell the movie buff, by the way?
Yes.
So, lasers.
Whoa.
So the reason why we use lasers on a ghost hunt is because you can see the pen, you can see the dots on the ground. You cannot see the lasers until something passes through it. So literally, somebody's going to be taking hundreds of pictures through the lasers, not down at the dots. We're going to use that style, and we're also going to be using red squares. So the red squares, same principle. However, if we capture a picture here, I can put it in 3D software. That's what the squares are for. And then I can actually get a full 3D view of what we caught with measurements. I've had this thing for almost a year, have not caught anything that the software will take yet. I'm just being blunt and honest with y'all. So again, this is a very interesting setup. You want to use these 2 side by side. Don't cross the streams. I know, bad Ghostbuster joke, but it does work here. Again, movie references. So again, we go side by side. Pictures will be taken through them. So I'm going to hand these 2 off to you. I'm sorry, I'm losing names already.
Kate.
Kate, I will get it.
Yep.
And because you're so worried about being alone, you're going to be the one taking pictures. So point one of your lasers down for me. This gives you an opportunity. Always keep them down. Lasers get Nick in a lot of trouble.
Well, I was trying to find the
Yep, it happens all the time.
Switch.
There you go.
There's this
so
one, and where's this one?
that one's a toggle switch. So you,
Oh, okay, got it.
there you go.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I don't know.
You'll
where
figure
it's
it out.
coming down. Sorry.
Yep, perfect. So what you're going to be doing, go ahead and turn one of them on, at least one. You're going to be taking pictures through the laser. You don't want to point down. We know what the green dots look like.
Okay.
I'm looking for something here. So you're going to stand anywhere between 2 to 5 feet away, literally taking hundreds and hundreds of pictures.
Okay.
And I normally
Just
don't hand that to
hold the-
teenagers because they don't know what the hell that device is anyway. They don't know what a digital camera is, do they? No, they
I
don't. Half
can
the time they have
see-
no idea what it is.
That on here.
Yep.
It's like stars.
Yep. So again, one of the reasons why I put this whole entourage together was so that we can get a little bit more footage with yours.
That's so cool.
Last but not least,
So you gave
kinda-
this to him, but he fell on his shoulder, so is it alright if I do this
Yeah.
instead?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's your tour.
Okay.
We'll give you something small, light, and easy to use. How about
Perfect.
that? Alright. So we need EMF detection when we're doing this. That's electromagnetic fields. So we're going to debunk a lot of things with this device. This is called a millimeter. It has 3 different functions. So your top number is going to measure any type of electromagnetic field. Well, not any type. 2 out of the 3 major ones. So anything above 2.5, I'm going to get excited about, but I'm also going to debunk things right away. Meaning, are we near a parking meter? Is it near somebody's cell phone? Is it going to make it go off? The bottom number is for ambient temperature. In the event, Carrie, was it?
Yep.
Carrie finds something on her camera, you and I will be able to debunk it with this probe at the top. This is an ambient temperature based on what the air temperature is around it. We can find that cold spot and either say it's natural or not. Last that it has is a motion sensor. Something gets close to that antenna, it will go off. The closer it gets, the higher it's going to go. So again, we don't use this all the time because it can be super annoying. So I will show you more tactics about that device, this part of the device, at the first stop. Leave the little flap open, focus on the numbers on your red screen for now. Nice and easy. All right, perfect. Everybody's got something?
Yep.
Cool. Look at me. And I still have more stuff to give out. No, I'm kidding. So
It's like,
there is more stuff in there, but it's... We're going to stick with the major stuff that's going to record. So kind of a recap on the things that you're going to get back out of your data. First off, you're going to get the full audio. You're going to have the spirit box recording there. You're going to have video from the thermal imaging. You're going to have the full word list for Michael's device. You're also going to have, what else do we have? What else? All the pictures from the lasers and the video from the full spectrum camera. You guys are going to have a lot to go through. With 8 people here, you're going to have anywhere between 7 to 9 hours worth of data, plus all of the links that I'm going to be able to give you on top of the reading.
Are we gonna switch around too?
What do you mean?
The stuff.
No, we don't do that. Obviously, we have a pandemic going through the world. So if you want to swap devices, it stays within your party only.
Okay.
So everything has been sanitized twice daily. Once before I use it in the morning, and then I do it again before I bring them to the tour.
Okay.
So
Can you really see that? Be the most important person there because you have the camera. Be
So-
the most important. So make sure you do good video for everybody.
if she does, I'll criticize.
I'm just giving you shit.
Let's talk about why we started
That's
here.
my cousin.
I was going to ask all the dynamic stuff later. I don't like to assume anything. All right, cousins. Louder. So if the word cousin pops up, now we know why. All right, Big John's. The reason why we started here. You have Sue already?
Soup.
Oh, soup.
Would you like a 1, 2, 3, go?
Big John's behind me. Actually established in 1955, but reopened about a month ago, maybe 5 weeks now, as Big John's Tavern again. It's been a couple of things in between, but we're going to talk about why it's called Big John's. Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. So I'm not a football fan, I'm not a sports guy, I had to memorize this crap so I could tell you guys. So this was his bar. He used to sit in the back of the bar and he would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. So he has the bartender throw them out. They get pretty mad, they leave, obviously. So the next night they come back and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Don't know why the cash register was in front of the bar, but hey, that's where it was. Big John sees where it was, sees these guys trying to steal his money, and he goes up and he starts pounding these guys into the floor. He's beating the heck out of them. A couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck, and the bullet lands in the wall. John gets up, the only one who got shot, by the way, and goes back to the bar and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor, and ambulance. So, what's haunting the place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. I have not been back in since they renovated the place, so I'll have to go back in and see. But people that sit in the front of the bar used to get little symptoms of being a headache, queasiness, consciousness. Bring the story up on purpose. You're going to be dealing with paranormal activity, fingers crossed, which is why you're here. Those paranormal activities can cause those symptoms that I just told you.
as soon as you said that, like my head, I've had a headache all day, and it was gone. And then as soon as you said that, my
Pop right back in.
yeah, and then went away. I'm like freaked out now. That's
In the event
weird.
anybody has anything that's dreadful to the point where you can't move on, we'll obviously get you out of the area safely. And I'm just going to put it out there, the psychics have not made it through this tour. So psychics will usually
Really?
pass out. Oh yeah, happens often.
Wow.
So that's why I put this heated warning out there. So let's not talk about our own health, right? So
No, I'm with you on that one.
have you guys taken any Charleston tours at all?
Yes.
No, not at all. Well, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. These folks already know that because every tour in town talks about it.
Yes.
Yes.
So, this is where the first death occurred from that earthquake, allegedly. So, the white mantle you see in the middle of the building there, it also wraps around the front, on the East Bay side. piece of the mantle broke, struck somebody in the back of the head, and killed him. They say you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. I said apparently and allegedly a lot because I don't have any proof for that story. It's just a great segue, so none of you are thinking about getting sick on the tour like Kate. So,
Yeah, no.
are you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go this way. Yeah.
Okay, we got that word.
Bottomed out. What?
Why is everybody trying to cross this little tiny street all of a sudden? At the time we need to cross. There's a reason why I like to start up here, because there's no traffic. I love to see a bunch of red and blue lights all over the place. It's great. So, welcome to the Big Red Barn Lot. Let's go ahead and turn the spirit boxes down. Because this is going to be a quick tutorial on some of your devices. This is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. You guys can probably smell them. I can't. I'm not here 6 nights a week. So it's probably dirty in there because I'm not here 6 nights a week. So don't go in the horse barn.
Yeah, I smell burgers.
Smell burgers?
Yeah.
I smell somebody cooking, but that's the only thing. I normally can smell the manure. Sorry. Didn't mean to misconstrue the burgers for the manure. So, the only history here, guys, is really simple. This is where we held horses that deliver milk and eggs to the resident people. So from 1860s to 1920s, roughly. Not a whole lot of history here. It's just a great place where we actually get activity from because we're still close to Big John's. Big John's demons like to come through. So let's talk about your spirit boxes. We do have 3 spirit boxes out here tonight. So spirit boxes, this is not TV, guys. This is not, is somebody here? Because if they answer no, there's somebody here. Okay, so you can't stay away from yes and no questions all night long. It's too easy to misconstrue the answers. You guys are after the details. You want to see some proof of feelings. In this particular spot, you're going to ask questions that you already know the answers to. We're going to make it nice and simple. We're going to level up as we kind of move along through the night. If somebody's here, tell me what color the Big Red Barn is. Obviously, we're going to be looking and listening for the color red. We have 2 spirit boxes that are using DJs and song lyrics to convey messages back to us. The word red might not be there. The fire truck, blood, or heart might be. Those 3 items are specifically red. What color is the Big Red Barn? Heart. I would accept that as an answer. Most of the time, I usually require 2 answers of some sort to solidify and verify what's actually happening. If you hear the number 40 and Michael gets the word Art on his screen, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. See how I have to take those 2 things and put them together? A lot of the stories tonight, guys, multiple people, same name. A lot of Charleses, a lot of Georges, a lot of Elizas. So I need to know who the hell we're talking to. And you guys want to know that stuff too. So we're going to kind of go through that little bit by little bit. In this lot, we are going to stay within the confines here. So those of you with spirit boxes, I would say go ahead and turn them up. As far as the barn goes, if you get too close to the barn and your white noise is too loud, the horses will kick. So let's try to keep them audible to 1 to 2 people only. So they have fans running in there. They can't hear everything we're doing, but we're going to be safe with the horses. So what I normally do in this lot is I start off with the video cameras to kind of give you guys a little bit more gist on how to use them, and then I go straight into the millimeter lasers. Couple of pointers there, so only because there's a lot of legalities with this. They will set off car alarms, so no cars whatsoever. They are that strong. They will shoot, especially the green one with full batteries like you have now, probably a good mile to a mile and a half. They stay off the streets. They always stay down, maybe up to 5 feet in front of you only. Move very still. Be very still when you're taking pictures. So that way nothing's blurry. We can try to make things out. So the more still you both are, the better off the pictures will be, and it's a lot easier to clarify what we've actually caught in the event we do catch something tomorrow morning. Your particular part of our investigation is not an in-the-moment type feel, because you're not going to just be taking pictures when you think you see something. You're just going to literally keep taking hundreds and hundreds of pictures. So again, by the time you think you saw something, it's already gone. So I will show you like actual evidence at our next stop, because that's where most of it happens. That way you guys get a gist of what I'm looking for in the morning. So spirit boxes, you 2 can go ahead and spread around. Like go ahead and get started. As far as the 2 cameras, stick with me for a minute. And if you want to stick, I'm losing names already.
Dean.
Dean.
Chris.
Dean.
Chris. Yeah, I have this music thing.
So I have a Sam and Dean tonight.
Yeah.
Is
Sam,
any-
yes.
I got a Sam and Dean tonight. Anybody get the reference?
No.
Nope.
Supernatural.
Oh my.
Oh.
I was thinking Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin.
Well, that too. We'll take that one. All right. So cameras. Do you get the gist of why I want somebody's skin tone in the picture at all times?
Yep.
So
Am I supposed to follow that too?
not necessarily.
Okay.
So with yours, I want more darkness. So you already kind of seen like the gist of that. I'm going to show you some evidence at the next location as well because I have some solid evidence to show you
Okay.
at the next stop. With your camera, things get a little bit more complicated. This is still relatively
figure
new.
out
I've only had this guy for like 2
camera on.
years, and I've only used
It was on when he gave it to me,
I've caught a
but
few
I
things
don't.
where it's been, like,
There's
very
the button.
questionable. I can usually tell where the bugs are. You're going to see little white dots kind of stream of light kind of things move around. But I have caught little like lightning bolts and big flashes of light.
it's-
coming
Oh,
through.
on
So you
off.
have 2 different lights working for you. I
There we
consider
go.
This one long term, so you don't like long range, so you don't want to mess with the only with the switches there. This one's short term.
No, be very still.
That's right.
My hand kind of punches things out on the screen.
Well, do you want me to do it? Do you want to switch?
Well, I'll do it for a minute.
No, so this is video mode. The bottom green, the bottom left, that's the back. And we will.
So, which one do I want to have it on?
So either one, it's basically like you want to keep both of them on until you're like in a group of people. Like say you're kind of figuring things out with someone else is doing and things are getting spaced out. Just go ahead and turn off the white one. So just use
So
the
what
red
am I
side.
supposed to be like scanning darker?
Darker areas to back. So point the camera directly 8 per second. Leave that short range on. So I'm in a purplish oval, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really, when I'm watching a video tomorrow morning on a much bigger screen than 1.5 inches, I'm looking for things that kind of pop up out of the darkness. So I'm looking for things that aren't supposed to reflect light. I reflect light because I'm solid. So again, we're looking for entities and ghosts.
So if I like look, over here in the dark,
Correct.
am I supposed to be looking for anything or just shooting things?
Just shoot. You have a video version. You never know if we're going to actually test it. Your record button. So after the next story, because you can see we only have 90 minutes of video, so we're trying to save it with your camera. Or like we have all kinds. But this is your record button. I'll say let's go ahead and get the recording started. We'll just press this. It's pretty standard button. So you press it, it starts flashing, and I'll concentrate. Your device. As you see, it's big numbers moving all. So any kind of word that shows up over here is going to be small. Yeah, the big numbers is what we want to focus on. Pull up your antenna. Not the only one. Pull that one up. Now flip the device over where I left the slot open. Now there's 2 little white buttons back here. One closest to the edge is when you want to click all the way into the plus switch back here. On the left. It's going to be on the right. You just gotta kind of feel it. Press it all the way, click it. Perfect. Alright, so it's super bright, just so you know. Now, it's creating an EMF field around this antenna. There's a way to reset it. On the side where your thumb is, on the spine, there's 4 little buttons. Go ahead and feel for them. It's the very bottom one that you want. There you go. It resets the EMF field to be straight again. So if something's going to get close to this, it's going to, you always want to constantly be hitting that reset button to make sure it's not your movement. I normally give this to females because they walk way more gracefully than we do. So you're going to notice as you walk, the closer your hand gets to the antenna, that's where the motion's coming in. So I leave it up all the time. Not always. When I tell the spirit boxes to go ahead and turn theirs down, that's when I'll say go ahead and turn yours off as well. So the antenna is still on. So that little white button is what turns it on. So you basically just push it in. So hit it outside. So when I say turn this guy off, you hit the white button first, then the antenna. The white on the back. So right. Yep, you got it. And you'll feel it because it's pressed all the way in. So really what I'm looking for out of this guy is just all of these little blinky lights, and you can use a call and answer with this as well. So certain places, you say, hey Eliza, make this thing go to blue. Interesting. So blue is here, and I'll go one away and go back. It goes to on this. Try to be as still as possible when you're
think that's similar. But no, I feel like this is way more painful. I mean, someone's leftovers. And I was like, yeah, look at my hair.
I'll never find that name. Alright, so have you heard anything on yours?
Nothing other than song and radio stuff.
And that's what you want.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's what we're using to convey messages.
Okay.
This is why we do the practice session first.
Okay.
Look at it. I'll be following up with the other one.
Okay.
We're going to move on pretty quickly here. Where did the...
She's walking that way.
Go. She up here?
That way.
I lost her.
I don't. Mom, stop it for a second. And are you touching the top? Looking at like
Here's
that?
the button right up here.
That's what I was doing, but it's like I don't
It's
understand.
the,
See,
there's
look.
no flash on it.
Right, but what is? So is that when I've taken a picture?
What is that white, that yellow line?
Like I don't even know how many.
Well, he'll come
pictures-
back and you can talk to him.
Hold on a second, Mom. Hey, can I need help for a second. This is yellow. I don't know if Mom and I took it. Some sort, and I didn't do it. Like pictures, but I don't know if
It's doing that because it doesn't find any, like, the flashes off on this.
Oh, okay.
So I don't
Yeah,
get the false
right. But I just didn't know. So when you touch it, look, I'm just flicking that. What I'm going to add.
Watch while we're doing it.
When you're taking pictures, exactly, if you want to go right through it instead of looking down. Got it.
How many pictures do you typically take when you do this?
I've seen 100, I've seen 1,000. Yep.
Over the course of the...
So you're going to basically be following Dean with his hotspots, whatever he finds with Dean. His device is going to pretty much determine where we go.
Oh, okay.
So
You gonna double check you might use that.
Alright, so I can't stay at this.
And they're not meant to be on all the time.
Okay,
So again,
I can't pull my...
you're perfectly fine. You're perfectly fine. All right. Have you heard anything on yours? Nothing at all. Song lyrics, DJs, commercials. Nothing at all.
Well, yeah, that stuff.
And that's what we're listening for. So we're using them to convey messages back to us. Just so you know. So I mean, Sam kind of had the same issue. She's like, "Oh, only just radio stuff." I'm like, "Well, that's what we want."
Yeah, I couldn't make out anything.
That's okay. And you have the hardest job out there. Just so you know. You guys ready to run some real history instead of phonies
Yes.
and football players?
Yep.
All right, let's do this. All right, you two, follow us.
Mom, on that red one, you can feel where the light bulb is. I don't know. So you'll know when it's
down or below.
Yeah.
Look at that rooftop bar up there, here.
That's cool.
You got the beeper?
That's his movement causing it to go off.
What bird?
Watch your step.
You're the one holding the camera.
I know, but I'm paying attention. I'm not just staring at the camera. It's every time he moves, it's moving.
Alright, so you can definitely turn off that little weight button in the back. And this spare box is down. We'll kind of give you guys a history here. So 6 feet, good feel. So we've got everybody here. You know, the spare boxes, you two actually have the hardest job out here. And that's for you to use your senses in a way that you're normally not used to using them. So, welcome to another great place up Charleston, a parking lot. So you guys are going to find out that some of the places we visit are places that once were. Other tours don't come here because obviously there's nothing to see besides other people's vehicles. But this place is pretty important in Charleston. This is the Pinckney Mansion site. So we actually met on the corner of Pinckney and East Bay Street, if you guys noticed that. The name Pinckney is pretty prominent around here. So Eliza and Charles Pinckney lived here. Who the heck were they? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Charleses. Remember I told you there's a lot of Charleses around here? So the son and the nephew signed up the Constitution for South Carolina. Pretty big deal for us, but you guys are on vacation. Well, you guys are. But nobody wants to talk about politics and things. So, by the way, with the questioning here and with your spirit boxes, I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the red barn. You're going to get the answers from the spirit boxes, which, by the way, Michael did get the number 20 that showed up on his list. That was Big John's first jersey number with the Giants, just so you guys know. The second number was 52, so I'll be listening for either Big, John, or some other clue to relate it to that. He also got the number 11, so I don't know who that is. I'll have to look at the roster and see who's in on the team that time. So, Charles and Eliza lived here. Told you about, their son and their nephew already, but Eliza is the person we're going to be focused on here. Eliza married Charles at a young age. I'm not going to tell you what that age was. I'm only going to tell you that Charles was over double her age. That kind of gives you a gist of the age gap between them. I know, right? She didn't marry him out of love. I will put it out there. This was the 1740s. She didn't marry him for citizenship or anything because it didn't exist yet. 1740. I'm going to say it again. Colonial times. So she married him because her father over in England thought he was dying. He wanted to see all of his kids one last time. And Eliza didn't think he was dying, so she didn't go. She got married instead and put her foot down and said, I'm not going anywhere because you're not going anywhere either. She was right. He didn't die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to this site. One of those gifts that he sent over was the indigo seed. What is indigo? It's a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. That's how we still use it today. She started experimenting with it right here. The mansion was in the front, her garden was where that truck was parked and came all the way across. We're standing where the servant and slave quarters would have been. So, with the servants and slaves that she had on site, she had to learn from them how to keep this plant cultivated in our weird temperatures. It's not always hot down here. It does get cold here in the winter, correct? Yes, that's an agreement. You live here. So, I've been down here with hot hands and a winter jacket. That's how cold it gets. So once she had experimented with it here, she moved it to a plantation in Mount Pleasant, just north of here, and was able to turn it into a huge cash crop. She calls her dad and says, hey, rice plantations are starting to go downhill over here. We could start selling this stuff internationally and make a killing. She starts selling this indigo internationally in colonial times. There's no such thing as a businesswoman in colonial times. This is a huge deal for us. Now, this is the person that normally likes to come to me. Let me give you some odd facts and things you guys can ask on your spirit boxes along the way. You can use these questions if you want. You can also go rogue. Ask whatever you want to. Just know that I'm looking for things that I can prove. So that's how a marriage was. I already know what's happening. Again, it doesn't matter. Specific dates, details, names, that kind of thing. You can ask her about her death. You can start there. Eliza, how did you die? When did you die? How old were you when you died? Where were you buried? And what U.S. president took you to your grave as a pallbearer? So that was a pretty big honor back then. I mean, it still would be an honor today. So that's a pretty big deal. You can ask about the mansion. It's obviously not here anymore. Then you can ask when that tragedy happened. So kind of get the gist of that. As far as the children go, tread lightly. There is a tragedy among the children. She had more than one. I already told you Charles. but maybe get how many kids she had, what their names were, how many boys, how many girls. Keep it simple. We start poking the bear with that tragedy, all activity will stop. I can almost guarantee that it will stop. So I don't know what's going on with Dean's device yet, but I'm sure he's going to get some spikes out that lot. Those spikes will go away and we'll have nothing to go with. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza to Charles, back to back. Yeah, what a jerk move, right? They were
Easy for him.
both Elizas went by their maiden name, which ironically both start with the letter L. You can ask what her maiden name was. I don't think I need to explain what a maiden name is to this group, which is really nice for a change. So normally a teenager start asking what the middle name was. Happens all the time. So again, have some fun in here. We are going to spend a good 10-15 minutes. I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you. People with cameras. People do not like their cars being filmed or pictures taken of. So imagine if your car was in here, if somebody's going to their vehicle, simply go the other way. They have no idea what we're doing, but we've already established that the thermal imaging would be a great car thief tool because we know how long these cars have been here. So have some fun, watch your lasers, keep them in the lot. So I'm going to check you guys in on all the websites you guys bought your tickets from, and then I'm going to start bouncing around to see what's going on with all your devices. Fair? All right, let's spread out. Go talk to Eliza, get us some evidence. Start your video. So tap it up. So you got some good dark corner.
Yeah, Mom.
You gotta turn it on. If the button to turn it on is close to where the button where you take it.
It's the same button. Oh,
No, it's not.
Now it's on.
I meant it off and on was the same, but.
in red squares.
Yeah.
So that one was unexplainable, so I put it in the folder. This one's interesting only because normally I would consider like that clean swoop, like a bug going through it, but there's a secondary dot that is hitting right there on the arm.
Wow.
So the fact that it's hitting 2, my wife couldn't explain that one either, because we know what bugs look like. They show up often. So then things as simple as this guy. So this one has just a dot just hovering below. So normally the buzz would look like a swoop, but remember you're creating a triangle coming down. So that one was just barely touching it at that point. So again, those are the types of little things I'm looking for all the time. You want to see some evidence on yours?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I've been waiting. What are you doing? So this occurred right here in this corner. This was probably about a year ago, but it's still probably one of my best pieces of evidence. This is obviously the wall. There's 2 living.
Motorcycle.
Oh, I just.
Those are living people. They're orange.
Yeah.
There was something that just went flying.
Yeah, no, that's the people walking across the street.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
So
my bad.
they're walking on the other side of the wall. So there's 2 orange people. Do you see them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we're gonna fast forward and find the dead people. They're gonna be 2 black heads going the opposite way, right about there.
Oh.
So firemen and mechanics use that on the daily job.
Yeah.
So I send videos to them constantly. Whoever's on the tour, if they say they're a fireman, I send it to them, analyze it. Because
Yeah.
I always want 3rd, 4th, 5th opinions.
Yeah.
I've had Zoom calls with firemen and mechanics that say they can't explain it. When you go frame by frame, it's 2 heads. Like you could see them 2 heads
That's crazy.
specifically.
Wow.
So, and there's always somebody in view. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but there's always, like, there was a person, they should have been the same color. So there's going to be a guy right here on the right there. So when them 2 black dots went by, this guy is in view. Their skin should have been the same if those were living people.
Wow.
That's crazy.
No, what was interesting,
There's no way to be shadows or no.
tested it
is it-
1,000 times.
Wow.
So they called me up here because they thought they were seeing shadows. I came up here to debunk the whole thing. Maybe you saw a reflection off the lamppost or something.
Right.
We didn't even catch that till the next morning. Because I watched the whole thing through and I'm like, what is that? So, but I've also seen like blue masses like cover my arm and then move together, get darker, and then swoop away, and then there's my arm again. Like I've seen.
So I was wondering, like, with this whole process,
Yeah.
okay, I have been keeping my finger over it because you said you wanted like skin in it. So I thought, like, if I'm doing something where I know someone's not,
Right.
then this would help with that.
Correct.
Should I be following people on the off chance that a spirit is following someone versus just randomly scanning nothing?
Not necessarily, because you never know where things are going to pop up. So,
Okay.
just like with the other camera, she had the exact same question. What am I filming? I'm like, at this point, you're a camera person.
Yeah.
You don't even, like, a lot of this stuff you're not going to catch in the moment.
Yeah.
Just like that, it was next morning. I didn't
Yeah.
even catch it in real time. So, again, that's why we record things. So, be the filmographer. Walk around where people are, like, taking pictures, or if somebody's got a high spike on the EMF, Mr. Dean over there, maybe you kind of keep the camera focused over there. The slower you are, the better it is to watch.
Okay.
So that way we can actually see things where they fluctuate. Because I'm sure
Yeah.
you notice if you jolt real quick,
Yeah.
the building's going to change color based on
Yeah.
what's in the screen.
Gotcha.
So we want to try to keep nice slow movements when we're filming. After we leave here, I'll kind of give you a break and say go ahead and shut it down. That way your arms aren't up the whole time.
Yeah.
But again, you're going to see with certain spots, it's the temperatures of things get really, really weird.
Yeah.
Did you notice the blue dot jumping around?
This one?
Yes. So
Yeah.
the blue dot is always going to give you the coldest spot. Why is that one tilted? That's weird. Nope, it likes to be sideways. I don't know why. But anyway, that blue dot is going to give you the coldest spot in the screen at that particular given time.
Uh-huh.
It's going to move all over the place. If you have sky in view, it doesn't know what to measure. So
Yeah.
it's going to keep going, and that's going to be your coldest spot. So I always tell people, try to keep the sky out if you can, because it's
Gotcha.
automatically going to go there because there's nothing there to measure, so therefore it's coldest.
Gotcha.
The crosshairs in the center is in case you find something that's a little weird and you want to move the camera to pinpoint somebody's head, take their temperature, that kind of thing. Like that's what that's there for. So your maneuverability will change that.
Gotcha.
So that's how those 2 little dots work.
Gotcha.
Perfect. Let me follow up with Dean. And how are we doing on this one? my word listers. All right. You guys switched up.
Let's try rock. Ooh, it's ready for some dance music. To be honest. Tune it in. Elijah, how many children do you have?
There's 9,112 terms. So this thing is meant to have like scare effect.
No. Not really. No.
I love them because they usually get a ton. So even though you can probably turn it up a little bit in here, just because you're probably hearing the radio over top there, it's perfect. So this is all aesthetics. Again, it makes noise and rumbles and all that makes growling noises. Like I turn all that shit down. I just want you to turn it on and on. Anything crazy going on with yours?
Mm-mm.
Is that what? I don't know what am I supposed to be? Oh, sorry. Well, I got a good nail polish, like toe polish for you. So good pedicure, hot pink.
I will not do homes.
Really? Why is that?
It's too
Personal. Have you gone? Somebody was saying that new archaeological find or dig that they're doing near where the plantations that they found. Remember it was on that tour today, and he said something about how that they
Which tool?
were doing a dig near here. Do you do that? Like where you go, you know, like if they find, yeah, like those type of things. Do you ever go around those type of environments?
So-
Not just here, but like.
It depends on like what's coming up out of it. If it's got historical significance, I'll check it out and see what's happening. Especially when you start stirring things up, it stirs things up. But with, for example, I don't like to do places that are already. I like to go. Right, everybody's done it. Like, I got invited to the St. Augustine Lighthouse 2 weeks ago, and we listened to a podcast. But I did that for a lot of so, and I wanted to get another podcast episode for me. So I know St. Augustine Lighthouse is very lot of people. So I did do that one, but like nobody's coming here. Nobody's ever done this before. You know, same thing with Big John. You know, I've emailed a ton of locations down here that kind of like what the old jail does, but mixed in with my style. We go to one location, the tickets are obviously much more expensive, but we're staying in one location for 2 to 3 hours. You know, kind of getting one giant story out of it. So I'm waiting to see who's going to take the bid first, because the old jail isn't going to be doing investigations anymore. So that's the rumor going around town, that they might not even be doing tours anymore, let alone investigations. You know, they haven't done investigations for a while, and that's run by a whole other company.
Right.
So I'm just kind of getting my feelers out there. I want to see if I can get a one location thing for the off season, because obviously that way I won't have to to sit at home, twiddle my thumbs, and wait for two people to book. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm busy.
Oh yeah, no.
But I mean, even December, January, February, it's just a little slower. I'm not sold out every night. It's okay. We balance things.
Right.
But it's I'd like to have that big venue to be able to pull people in once a week.
Right.
So we're working on that.
Has anybody ever felt that something followed them home?
Me.
Really? How
So
did
a lot
you
of
get rid of it?
So a lot of times what happens now, for example, when things
They're
work
not done
on,
with you.
well, you guys bring people with you.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. I think I said that a second ago. Do ghosts? Do they usually are around where they died or where they live?
Well, we're going to talk more about that. A lot of times we'll follow people with us. A lot of times we'll tell you about people with you and see, oh, this guy's got communicative devices. I'm going to go home with him because I can always find you later.
That's scary.
That is scary.
Now there's things on my bag that kind of keep things neutral ground, so they're not going home with me anymore. Again, with some of those instances of psychics passing out, people coming home with me, it was a matter of, did you hear something? Is that why you came running over here?
No, I got a soda over the.
Oh.
That's a great idea. How'd you do that?
Well, I saw that they were running back and forth with the door open, and I said, I will give you a kiss if you can give me a drink of Coke. I said, okay, just kiss the guy in the cheek.
That is awesome.
I got a Coke.
They're running a kissing booth right over the wall.
I'm game.
Right over the wall. I said,
I'm
dude,
like-
I said, I'll give anything for a drink right now. He said, hold on. And he ran it back and he got me a drink. I said,
Where the lights
I
are?
would kiss you for that drink.
Is it a party or a?
It's a bar. It's like a, that's a restaurant, like the back.
Don't be thinking you're going to get a drink too.
I'm trying.
I'm just saying. It cost me a kiss.
I'll give a kiss.
Give a kiss and
No,
a
I
flower.
asked him, I said, I'm going crazy over here. I need a Coke or something to drink. He said, okay, I'll be right back. He went and got a drink. I said, I owe you a kiss for this. And
How
he
did you
jumped
reach
up on the
him?
couch and gave him a kiss on the cheek.
Just happened to walk through,
Big
right?
deal. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there we go.
It's just like
Oh, and I was right here. It said May.
I'll give a kiss for a Coke.
I'll give you $20. Do you take debit cards?
Anything heard on your breast here? Okay. Did you hear anything when you had it? I've had that answer here before. So I'm going to tell you anyway. So now that we're all kind of focused up here, and I really don't like bright lights with headlights, I'm just going to move over here.
Did you catch anything on
You
there?
did stop on
No.
yours too, Keri.
Okay.
You can kind of this place. Got a couple?
Yeah, got several.
Let's do this.
Stop open, dude.
Smells like potatoes down here.
Sounds like Granny and Granddaddy's on basement. Like
Yeah.
musty and like
Potatoes.
Smells like fresh peanuts from the dirt.
we're not around
Been a
peanuts.
long, long
We're not around
time.
peanuts in the dirt, so I wouldn't know what that
I wasn't either, but it's a culture thing here. They
Oh,
boil
yeah,
the
right.
peanuts.
Where are you all from?
What's in Idaho? Originally.
We're smelling potatoes. Oh, catch that irony there?
Ah.
I'm the only one who doesn't agree with you guys. I don't think it smells like potatoes.
I don't either.
Alright, so we'll stop here for a brief minute just to kind of give you guys the history of this location, and you guys should know what this place is. Anyway, not a whole lot of tourists come down here, and this is considered a quiet area, by the way, because of the hotel, so that's why we're going to keep this gearbox down low, whoever has it at this point, because I know you guys keep switching out. But this is Lodge Alley. When we crossed that last crosswalk coming over, that was where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. This used to be Charlestown, the walled city. And then they changed it to Charlestown. So this is one of the first streets we ever had. So
This here?
This right here. People used to live here. These two giant buildings you guys are looking at weren't here. Little tiny shotgun houses. I have the full list of residents of every person that ever used to live here. There's not a whole lot of them. Only about 2 pages worth, because there's only about 5 to 7 people that lived here at a given time. The common names I get are Benjamin and John. Did you get any names?
You got Russ.
Russ. Don't think there's going to be a Russ on that list from the 1800s.
Russell?
Possibly. It might be more of a last name than it is.
Oh, sorry.
So again, but again, getting Russ out of a Russell's last name is one of the stretch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just thinking, but is that...
She won't stop if you don't stop her.
Names. So the other cool thing about this particular alley, they did do an archaeological dig on this place, and they did classify these people as lower class. It makes sense because the other part of the wall is going south across the street on East Bay. The smell of low tide would have been coming over that wall, coming right down this alley. Found some of their tools, found some of their silverware, pieces of their clothing. Definitely lower class folks. This is called Lodge Alley because this is where the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge. Again, Lodge Alley. Makes sense now? So we get words like Briggs, Freemason, Mason. I've even had Illuminati show up here.
Wow.
I know, pretty cool stuff, right?
I need to have that.
The cool thing about the names that I normally come up with, they usually come exactly the same names that I get all the time, usually about once every 4 to 6 weeks, and they come on different spirit boxes. Benjamin and John, they both lived here in 1801. I don't find it irony that they both lived here. I have a Benjamin and a John. Sometimes I'll get John's last name, which was Johnson, John Johnson. So again, very interesting. Every once in a while I'll get a third name that'll pop up the same night. The name Jane, again, 1801. That's 3 out of 5 people that lived here during that time frame. I don't think that's coincidence by any stretch of the means. What's going to happen from here is we're going to walk through the rest of this alley. We're literally right on the cusp of where tour guides are allowed to go. So we're going to go to our next spot quietly, keep the spirit box audible to people only. I'm going to stop my video. I'm running it right now just in case anyone can pop up out of this. I'll stop the video. We'll stop thermal until we do our final investigation of the Powder magazine over a female pirate. But we're going to stop at St. Philip's Church and Cemetery first. I'll go over some legends and lore. Normally I get a little bit of a rise out of you guys with female pirate. I was like, oh yeah, let's do this shit.
Right?
But
That's what I was thinking. But
okay, I'll
you're
take
talking
it.
so low,
I
I
don't
don't
know
want to.
telepathy really well. So,
Not yet.
Not yet. But at the same token, the myths and legends, if things pop up out of a spirit box, and we're going to keep it down on mute, but the word list is usually what I go by. You're going to see much larger tours in that area. You guys already know they're allowed to go to 20. So we kind of pick our spot and just stay out of the way. You guys join the annoying group tonight with all your blinky lights and gizmos and gadgets. So again, we stay out
I'd
of their
rather
way.
be in this group.
Understood.
Can I ask a quick question? The names that you said that would come up are not associated with us, right? Like, it's not going to be names that, you know how you said that the names you're expecting are the ones that could have lived down here?
Correct.
Or
Unless somebody comes up to me and said my grandpappy's name was Samuel. And then we have another clue that says pipe or cigar because he smoked.
that's what, okay.
Again,
Alright.
I look for
was
double
just-
clues.
Got it.
So there was a Samuel that lived down here, by the way. It was just a name that popped in my head. But that was later on. Later than 1801. But anyway, don't have the list memorized. They should, though, right?
But if
Down
we
your
see
signature.
that list later, we could then, my point was that there could be names that
I'm
are
gonna give it to you.
associated with all of us
Could be.
that, okay.
So the list that pops up there, again, I've had people email me weeks later after they finally had a chance to look at their data from their tour, and they said, my cat's name is Radar. The word cat and radar showed up on the list in order. So, like, I can't make that stuff up. I don't know you guys that well.
You don't know if we have a cat named Radar.
Right,
Yeah,
so
right.
again, when somebody gets back to me that way, that's somebody else that they brought with them, letting them know that they're there. That
Yeah.
they're giving them a clue, like, hey, I know your cat's name is Radar. Let me give you some more clues. And I don't know what else she found, but I'm sure she dug through the spirit box recording and found a whole lot more. I had
That's
tours where I
interesting.
brought vets on the tour, and everything was about who they lost overseas.
Wow.
It doesn't matter what story I told. It just didn't matter. So,
Right.
and it's happened.
Wow.
Again, I never know what's going to come up on these. That's why my
Right.
tours are, every one of them is different.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm going to tell the same shit I tell every night. We'll see
Right.
what happens. I
Yeah,
can't
So
guarantee.
we get to see everything that comes up on the
On
on
everybody's.
everybody's
Everything.
devices. Okay.
So, I mean, and it's a lot of data. again, even with just down to 5 of us, we still have most things running. The only thing that I took from them and now not running, they don't record anything. So again, everything else that records is still going. I'm still going to check them out from time to time, just to kind of see what's going on. Let's go through the neighborhood and get into that cemetery, see what's going on up there.
Just go slow.
And you can cut that off once we exit the alley.
This is hard to walk on.
Yeah, it's not easy. Welcome to another beautiful site, guys. I started over here just because a lot of tours like to cut through here. We're going to get much closer to the building after I give you the history. Again, I try to stay all the other tours away just because I'm the annoying group. Well, you're the annoying group tonight. So.
You're not annoying.
You have my gizmos and gadgets.
Oh, and
So
they
the
just
other
talk.
tours, yeah. So they stop and talk and they move on. So we just stay out of it. All right, so the history of what we're going to talk about tonight is that building over there with the crosses on it. You guys see that building?
Yeah.
Those are not crosses, those are earthquake bolts. Just behind those is that they're on a turnbuckle in the center of the roof. I guess it's battery totally backwards. So the turnbuckle just is if the building gets quaked again. If the building gets quaked again, just tighten up those turnbuckles. This is the building now. It's a great idea. It doesn't work. So again, whole new technology of earthquake, saving buildings now. I talked about California. I'm sure you guys can tell people from all over. But this is the gunpowder magazine. These are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in because this is the oldest government building on the East Coast. 1713 was when it was finished. So, wow, holding all this stuff, I haven't been able to take a drink for a while. So, I told you guys about the Charlestown walls, correct?
Yes.
Back at Lodge Alley. So, this is the street where the wall actually came up. Okay, so we are still inside the original walled city. The wall went up past the power magazine and from the south towards the back. It's literally tucked into the corner on purpose. This thing held gunpowder for 7 different wars. They have to keep it kind of barricaded. If it gets attacked from the water, from cannon, it's going to have a hard time getting through the 32-inch thick walls. But we're going to pretend that it's going to go all the way through and blow up the gunpowder. There's sand in the roof that was put there in 1712 to help protect the building. Just behind that is that when it explodes, the sand will go up in the air and then fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. Wow. It's a great idea, but that shit don't work either. So we had another powder magazine near the battery, got attacked much closer to the water. Sand went up, fell, building burned to the ground. It doesn't work. So this building has just never been attacked, so we're lucky to still have it. The reason why we're here is because this is a familiar building to the ghost we're going to be hopefully getting in contact with. This building took 10 years to build. That doesn't sound like our government, does it? Sorry. But at the same time, 1703 to 1713 is when the construction was. Our story begins 1708, right smack in the middle of it. So follow me, there's a lot of twists. This is how shit went down with Royal Pirates. Young lady moves here from Ireland with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is her mom. You guys with me so far? Mm-hmm. The 3 of them are getting away from his wife. Okay. All right, glad everybody's on board. I don't have to say it twice. So, they move all the way from Ireland to get away from this foreign woman. They land in the Georgetown area, just north of here. So it's about an hour and a half. Dad buys a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly after getting here, probably from whatever disease or whatever. So, they start sending the daughter down here to sell the crops and the wares and whatever else they had to sell, doing all the business. This young lady back in Ireland, rumor had it, she killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. Like, she's pretty hardcore. Like, she's pretty badass. So, we're going to fast forward. 1713, this building is finished. 1715, is there something going off in my pocket?
Yeah, that's a red light.
Means they're supposed to on me. I hit the flashlight by accident. The red lights to help you see. But anyway, so 1715, she's about 16, 17 years old at this time. Pirates are coming through town. She's pretty stoked. You know, she's going to fall in love pretty quick, and she does. His name is James Bonney. So, Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. I'm not going to approve that my daughter's marrying a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, get married. Anne Cormac becomes Anne Bonney, your most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. Now, when she gets down there, James, her new husband, is not the guy who she was hoping for. He's not the Captain Jack Sparrow type, which is what she wanted. He's a privateer, which makes him a coward in her eyes. He's a spy for the British. He's basically reporting back to them about where their locations are and where they're going to be stealing ships from. It's not who she wanted. She falls in love again a few years later. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Much cooler name, much younger guy, has his own ship. He's called Calico Jack because he wears the jackets of the men he kills. So he's a pretty dapper young man, he's just a filthy pirate. So,
Is that the Jack that was on there a while ago?
that's where I got excited, but it was a while ago. So they say you can actually get the spirit of Anne Bonney all over Charleston. I like to come here because this building is familiar and I actually get some pretty specific details. So is it possible that it could have been? I'd be more convinced if it said Calico anywhere in the same vicinity. And I thought they found that spirit box. I had Calico Jack and Anne show up in the same room. So like you can't deny this. But anyway, back to Calico Jack. He has his own ship. She wants to be part of it, but females curse pirate ships. Can't have a girl on the crew. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like the crew and hide your gender, you can be part of the crew and be a female in my quarters. Dad used to hide Anne back home in Ireland as a boy at his attorney office to hide her away from his wife. She's okay with this cross-dressing bit. Let's do this. She wants to be a pirate. She dresses like a guy. She's on board. She's allowed to be a female in his quarters. So eventually she gets pregnant. Of course she does. So what's Jack do? Can't have a pregnant pirate guy on the crew. Somebody's going to find out. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby, come back, we'll figure it out later. She goes there, she has the baby, returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this child. She's also dressed like a female. She doesn't give a damn anymore about hiding her gender. She gets back on the ship, this makes Jack pretty mad. You guys know her mentality. She's going to make him even more mad. He just acquired another pirate crew that he captured down below deck. She's going to go flirt, because that's what this girl does. She goes flirting with this crew down there. She starts flirting with one in particular. He reveals his gender to be a female dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So, we have two females dressed like guys doing the exact same thing. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. She convinces Mary to become part of the crew. A couple months go by, the British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet to take on one pirate crew. All the men, including Calico Jack, are down below deck, too drunk to come up and fight. It's Anne and Mary with their muskets up above deck trying to fight this entire fleet of ships. Well, obviously it's going to get taken, right? Just not going to work out. So as they're all getting arrested, Anne's last words were to Calico Jack were, "You should have fought like a man instead of going down like a dog." So the word dog will show up here from time to time. Now, the judge, his name is Nicholas Laws. He wants to see the two men that fought back by themselves. He doesn't know they're female. So all the men, including Calico Jack, are tried and hung pretty quickly. A week later, November 28th, 1720, I'll never forget that date as long as I live. Why? Because the first time I came here after getting kicked out of the alley over there was November 28th, 2020. The exact 300-year anniversary of that trial.
Wow.
I got the number 300 that year.
Very cool.
So I didn't even believe this story until I had that number. I'm like, man, I gotta keep coming back for pirates. So anyway, they go in front of the judge, they reveal their gender, he doesn't care.
Sam, that's me. I'm so sorry.
No, because there's also Sam, what was his name? Oh, he's another pirate captain. I'll look it up. There's definitely another Sam involved. But anyway, so he wants to see, they reveal the gender here. Is that where I was at? Yeah, he doesn't care that they're female, right? So you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. So both ladies, we plead our release. It was the last thing that they claimed, the last thing they said.
Oh, they're both pregnant all of a sudden.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
right, trying to save themselves. So you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720, it's illegal. He sends them both back to jail. Dad is still here with his Irish money. He bails Anne out and brings her back here. From what we know, she remarried again, guy number 4, because yes, we're still counting Mary Reed, had 4 children, died at the age of 84. That's all we know.
Wow.
Again, I've read, I don't know how many books on this woman. I've only given you the common facts that were at multiple books because there's a lot of holes in the story. So what happened to Mary Read? She died in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. We don't know if her pregnancy was true. Her death was probably scurvious, bumpy, gross, oozy, whatever you want to come up with. But that was a year later in 1721. So again, in this location, you can ask whatever you want to. This is kind of like your higher level. I've taught you enough along the way. 2 things I did not give you that I can actually prove are the name of Calico Jack's ship and the name of Anne Bonning's parents. So, Sam is not one of them, just so you know. So this is an interesting location. I've already swapped out the batteries I need to on here. Definitely get that spirit box up and running as far as the noisy maker one. As far as the photos, you guys can do that, or you guys can take the camera. It's up to you. This camera's kind of cool to run too.
Okay, I'll take it.
She's like, yeah, let's do this. So I want to get some more footage here. As far as the cameras go, if you do want to go into the front of the building, you can. Just stay out of the way of other tours. It's the only thing I ask. You already don't like it. It's okay.
Is that what that it sounds like a psychotic person. There's a lot of random that doing that. Good thing. I'm sure he was lovely. Are we lucky? And that's how it got weird.
Yes. Aaron, you're not wearing your diapers?
No!
I just reached that point.
It's a camera. It's attached to the camera.
That's cool.
Like a heat signature thing?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
think we're done. I think we're going to wrap this up once Sam and Michael tell me what's going on. We're going to get this all loosened.